Well, I'm back. Alrighty. I didn't really expect to be doing this one, to be honest. Like, to be completely honest, I thought it was, that I will finish it off. But since I started this here, and this completely extra from what I usually do, I want to do just like 4 hours a day. So I really didn't feel like this was necessary because I got my ending. And in my ending, I got what I deserved. I got shot in the face because I took a decision that wasn't making any sacrifices. And that was a bad decision. Just wanted to see what would happen. Then at the end, I took the route that I would have taken myself, killing the ones that, well, didn't fit my vision of future. Now we're continuing down that path, and the start of this is kind of mixed up with the ending of the last one, but like I said, I didn't really even know what I was going to do until now. So let's see where this goes. I'll keep my, how to say it, my opinions about the game to a real ending that is gonna be in a little bit probably, and let's get to it. I haven't really talked too much before I go into it. I haven't really talked too much in the whole series that I did, being this 4 kind of stream thing that I did. There's 3 streams before this one and this one right now. I didn't really finish it before too because I had to go. I kind of let it on a kind of a limbo because I did have to go out. So this will be like my actual finishing, like the closure for me will be this thing that we're doing right now. And like I said, didn't feel the need to talk all that much during this game because this game is so story heavy. So I felt like me intervening, saying stuff that I didn't even feel to really say wouldn't really do much for me or anyone, to be honest. So I think I'm gonna keep that up. There's games where I feel like I have to say a lot, and there's other games that I feel like I shouldn't. So I'm gonna let it to my feeling and the way I feel of the game to decide what I should or should not do specific stuff like that. A bunch of waypoints, places to go right now. We can probably do.
Remember a teenager who fled her home with a full backpack and a picture in her pocket. She couldn't find happiness. She missed her parents. For you, something old. I feel as if I know her.
We're playing as Yao, I will guess. Right now.
Remember a stubborn and brash fixer who discovered our first forms of flight and disappeared. She could not sleep through the night. She struggled with words. For you, something secret. Words can be hard sometimes.
Oh. Alright.
Remember a guilty, matricidal watcher who lost faith in an eye. She could have been a nobody. She was ancient by the end. For you, something fresh. She's my favorite.
Everyone's fucking dead anyway. That's not the happy ending that I expected. Thought I took the right decision this time.
Remember a tight-lipped and two-faced knower whose sacrifices outlived her. She made enemies over and over. She was not for the faint of heart. For you, something soft. So many enemies.
Nowhere did play the game in the best way possible, I guess. I mean, she did everything she needed to do at the end of the day. Made for both teams. Was helping us, and at the same time, she kind of watched her pretty badly too. Guess that's what she needed to do in the end. Don't know if what she did was right or not. Can't really judge her though. In a situation like that, well, you don't really get many chances. And she did say there's no feeling worth getting incinerated for, so she stood by it. Bang Bang Fire's death was kind of rough. It was really fast.
Remember a philosophizing Bang Bang Fire who hated her role and was difficult to understand. She carried the past with her like a shadow. She was happier when she was drunk. For you, something funny. I wouldn't mind something funny. Remember the armed sisters who upheld a fictitious government and sacrificed many lives.
The red ones?
They turned on their own. They didn't know better. For you, something clean. I heard about them.
Red shells, huh? I wonder if I just taken out me or Maeve or whatever and left the red ones live.
Remember a shy Jiao who stood in the same spot her whole life, giving away empty pages of memorabilia.
Cherry?
She loved her function. She died standing at the ready. For you, something wild.
And Cherry.
Remember an unflinching bartender who tended to libation the way she tended to revolution. She chose not to be careful. She was shot in the back.
We never really got to Araya, right? It's kind of weird.
For you, something sacred.
I thought that maybe we were going to get, like, revenge against her specifically. There's no, wasn't meant, I guess. Where's healer? Probably doesn't occur anywhere. Oh, we should have been there. And healer should be here. There she is. She did love the experiments.
Remember a tired and indulgent healer who thrived in her late years as a cultural icon. She was petty She was honest. For you, something sparkling. I'm a big fan. What's it like to be a legend?
I wonder if, like, does this mean that they all had lives? You know, after the end of the collapse? And I wonder if my decision of taking out the red card made it this way. You know, did I mess up by doing it? Only wonder.
To this day, I wonder, what if I had chosen differently? A sister once said to me, don't think too hard. It's bad for the brain. I can confirm that.
Your sisters. I've heard so much about them.
What would they say now?
I think they would want you to forgive yourself.
There is forgiveness, and then there is the gravity of consequence.
You did what you had to do.
I did. There's one last sight I want you to see. In the cave, where there used to be a waterfall. Please.
So we have a memorial for principle, but I decided to erase principle. It was my decision. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But why would we have a grave for someone that didn't exist? Well, they shouldn't have existed at any point anyway. Where was this? Oh, there's you. Oh.
Remember a lying and leading principal who tried to be a better mother than her own. She chose not to regret her damage. She chose to be in pain. For you, something merciful. All we can do is try, right? Remember a lying and leading principal who tried to be a better mother than her own. She chose not to regret her damage. She chose to be in pain. For you, something merciful.
Where is she? That's it. There's Blue. Get too close, it can really be the armor, but holy.
I left so many things behind here. Maybe there's still more to leave. How about you? Anything you care to keep here?
I'd like to leave a picture.
Of what?
A friend.
It will be here for you, if ever you're back to visit. Are you ready to return to the others?
I am.
Blue to ephemeral. Blue to ephemeral. Ready for retrieval.
This is ephemeral. Message received, Blue. On our way to rendezvous.
What? That's either secretary or how the fuck do we make a man?
Maybe you'll write something for me one day.
Is this Primal Yao? Like the one that was with Principal?
After all, there are more yesterdays to come.
Right? Shut up for a bit. And that was it? I wonder if I do anything. What if I go here? What does it take me? Which... Oh, here.
Secretary.
Alright. Before I do anything, I'm gonna just say that that was the good ending, I think.
Is that really you?
Blue. Hello, Blue. I remember now. I'm sorry. It's been a while.
What happened? What happened to your body?
I've merged. More me, less them. I see I've returned to this place. That's good. I can finally end this. You can finally end this. Interesting.
Did it work?
Yes, the memories of Iris, of Watcher. They have been passed down to all sisters, and now we are afloat.
Secretary, what did you do? What did I just see?
I overrode everything.
Overrode?
While the simulation was still running, everything collided. This is the last communion. Blue, it's time for you to decide what should stay and what should go. What future you desire. That was Watcher's wish, and I will abide by it. One final intervention before I leave.
You're leaving.
I must not interfere any further. I've already done so much damage. This world must be allowed to continue, without my presence, and without the disease.
So, what now?
You need to evaluate what stands before you. Confirm your decisions. Then return to me, and I will make them reality.
There's only one thing that I would have done different. Only one thing. Of course, the first one was like my way of saying, this is what I would love to see. You know, this is how I would love it to go. It didn't go well.
A radical sister who came to words later in life.
I'm not going to beg, Miscellaneous. I thought you wanted change. Instead, you'll side with those old sisters. I've lived under their thumb long enough.
She is an agent of change. No matter the change, and no matter the cost, will you carry this?
I'll split the red. I wonder if I should leave Principal, but I can't.
The ancient sister.
Don't you see what Mother did? You have no idea what it's like. Living in her shadow.
A sister who has been wronged and has wronged in kind. An open wound. Will you carry this?
I don't think there's gonna make much of a change. Because at the end of the day, Mauve is just the result of the decisions of everyone around her. She adapted. The Red Guard, on the other hand, I feel like they pretty much feel into the same thing. So,
Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that retains an unstable structure for future force, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost,
that's the only difference.
that seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, regardless of the soul, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that believes some are simply beyond forgiveness, that remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain? The Red Guard have many factions within. They will be difficult to control. You're sure?
Oh. That's what she says about that.
Maybe. Let me reevaluate.
As you wish.
Alright. Oh, I have the saves of all the chapters. And 10, 10, 9, 9. Chapter 1, chapter 2. Regardless, again, we'll just let it rest. I don't feel like I should see the answer to that. Alright, let's start game now. I feel like this game specifically is one of those games that don't come out as often nowadays. And like I said, it's really story driven. Like the action is mostly not you're doing. So I feel like there was a lot of things that I didn't understand completely. The overall story is really emotional in some parts. And I think they moved that in a pretty good way, because I felt hate towards the characters that I should have. I was confused when you were supposed to be confused. I was sad. You were supposed to be sad. Also nervous at times, and at times it was just angry. Sometimes it was really slow pace in a couple chapters. They all have their own way of being liked. I think the conclusion is a little ambiguous, I will say. The way it finishes really leaves a lot to interpretation, I will say. And so I felt like maybe that was the best way of doing it, you know, of finishing the game, you know, letting you interpret things the way you want them to be. We don't really see if they make a different civilization. We don't really see if they have things some other way. But at the end of the day, I found it to be a great game. It was fun, which is, I think, the most important thing in a game. You know, the fact that it was fun is the most important thing. Because if it's not fun, then why are you playing it, right? And since the game achieved that for me, I appreciated the experience, and the game was great. I loved it. The ending that I got was kind of a fucked up ending. Of course, that was just like a mistake. Was not the way to go. So story wise, I think it was pretty good. It was really good. It was a really convoluted story, so there was many turns and twists that maybe I didn't completely understand. There was this like two timelines colliding at some times, and at some points I didn't even know how many years went by or how many years were in the future or in the past. And we moved through so many things without really getting an explanation of anything. But maybe that explanation wasn't needed because you have to feel it more than know sometimes. You know, it's more about feeling the game. If I have to talk gameplay, is really simple. You know, you didn't really do much. We ran around. It felt good. The controls were fine. I don't really have much to say about that, since that wasn't a centric point of the game. It could have been a scroller and it would have been fine. So I think as long as the story was strong, it didn't really matter at all what they wanted to do with that. So gameplay wise and control wise, I think it was okay-ish. If I had to go to art design, I loved it. I don't think something needs to be extremely realistic or have something really specific to be good, but I found it to be appealing to the eye. I find myself looking at things and say, hey, it looks cool. This specific thing looks good. Sometimes I would just look at something and say, oh, maybe, hey, it looks great. I wouldn't say that it looks amazing. I will say that it completes the purpose that it has, which is being ambiguous at times and maybe leaving some space for doubt, and I mean really simple on that sense. The music, I think, is a high point in even on the parts where I didn't expect anything to happen. The music is what get me going for a good chunk of the game. Is the music picking up in sometimes, giving that vibe of really pushing you forward to what you need to do. I think the music really elevates the game for me, because even if the gameplay, I don't want to say it like this, but even if the gameplay at some places was kind of boring and simple, I found it to be way more appealing just from the fact that the music was that good. That the music actually was good enough to just make me say, let's keep going a little bit more. I could probably go a little bit longer playing the game, right? So I think that was really important for me, and music did a lot for me in this game. The narrative, it was great. It wasn't extremely heavy. There was a lot of information, yes, and the information was convoluted as fuck as could be, of course. Yes, there was so many stuff happening, like the story with the fathers and they coming from China and Hong Kong and all of these things and all of those messages colliding with the life of Iris and the story of Zhao, and then the sister and the cloning, and everything was developing slowly towards a point where everything was just dumped completely into you, and you just have to catch little things that you can. And then that part after the communing with Watcher after she dies, and then using the bad guys, the occupants, and also the story of the occupants was something that came out of nowhere. Like, okay, there's something else that you have to try to understand that is just gonna be there, and you have to do your best to understand what the fuck is going on, right? So I think that's another thing that really came through as an important part of the game. And I think the narrative was good. It was a little bit convoluted at some points, but I felt like I could enjoy the game enough for me to want to finish it. Because I feel like if you don't enjoy a game at all, you probably won't be able to finish it. But for this one in specific, I had enough fun to where I could say, let's play. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's gonna happen. Even this stream is just a part of all the same, you know? Even the fact that I will start it just to finish it after 38 minutes or 40 minutes just because I thought it was worth it doing, you know, because the game deserved it. In my sense, this is the best thing I could say about it. You know, the fact that I will play it from start to finish just lets me say that I enjoyed it and I think it was great. And that just comes to show that even with some shortcomings in some aspects, it was good enough to go through those shortcomings and it still come on top as a really good game and a really enjoyable game too. I like all the stuff with Blue, getting all the memories from Watcher and all the stuff and carrying on with the whole of things she wanted to do, and I really didn't expect that to work like that, because I thought that maybe Blue wanted to do something a little bit different, or the Blue was Watcher but in disguise or something of that sort, and there was that little bit of, you know, foreshadowing when she was talking with Nowhere on the cell, and I thought, oh, here it is. So Watcher is gonna give up and she's gonna be swapped into Blue at some point, and that's just colliding two timelines at the same time. But it didn't go like that. It was a little bit different. Something else happened, and there was like this connection between two characters that didn't really have much to do with each other. But at the end of the day, since they share their memories to such an extent, Blue kind of became Watcher at the end. In the same sense that Secretary took everything away from the occupant, from the last one that stood on Earth, just because of Iris at the end of the day, because all of the other occupants left. This is the only one that stood by and give all the things, and pretty much everything good that happened to Iris was also the dooming of the world, because this specific one is just the whole reason of everything happening. I did not know in which time this is happening though, because it is kind of confusing, you know, when there's so much time between everything that happens on the ship. And like I was saying, everything that happens on the ship and everything that happens years in the future. Another thing that I'm not completely sure about is the whole thing with Principal sending them on the trains. Like, what were you doing with them? Where were they going? Did they go outside? Did I not catch that at some point? Still, I feel like the ending was enough for me. I think that's all that it should be. And I have fun. Now I will say that the game is great. Great game, it was a great project, and it came out being great as it should have. And I hope that they make another one. Of course, not with the same setting, but if the same studios make something relatively close to this, with maybe not the same ideas, but with the same director team and producing, will probably come out as a really good game. And this may be, or maybe not, maybe this is what they did and maybe they should have stick with the things that they did right. But game studios usually make another projects after having a really good one. I do not know how well received this game was specifically, but I feel like it should have been great, because these kind of games kind of stick with people for the same reason that a movie like Origin sticks with people. Just convoluted stories where interpretation is really important, and you can really believe whatever you want. Believe that whatever choice you made was the right one, or whatever thing you believe is the right one. So you'll feel smarter that way. I feel like this type of games really resonate with that kind of people. And even though, like I said, a lot of things that maybe I didn't completely catch at some point, I felt like enjoyed it as its fullest, and that's everything that matters. That's all that matters. I will take a break. That break might be a couple hours, that break might be a day, and I'll come back. I don't know what the next game will be, but we'll make sure that if I start something, I'll finish it. I'll be taking my leave. It was a short one. I said it wasn't going to be much. I thought about making it yesterday, but I thought that maybe if I just finish it by now or today, that will be a little bit more fitting. I really didn't expect to leave it behind as I did today. I did have a little bit of an appointment that I have to follow, so that was pretty much it. That reasoning. And maybe I'll even come back today. I don't know what's gonna happen, but whatever happens, I'm only gonna be fine. I'll probably give it in the credits and I play the credits and where's their logo? There you go. I'll be taking my leave. Have fun. If you ever see this and you ever get the opportunity to play the game, go for it. Game's like $15. I don't know, something like that. Fucking cheap. Get it.